Hello, everybody, and welcome to Better Together Talks with Dr. D. I'm so excited that you all are here with me another Tuesday. We're talking about it, right? Talking about everything that is going to make you better. All things better. That's what we're talking about. Matter of fact, if you're watching right now, you've already queued in, or if you watched the replay, I want you to put in the chat all things better, right? All things better. That's what we talk about on here. All things becoming better. So, those of you that don't know me, and this might be your first time watching, I am Dr. Deidre Cotton, your Better Life coach and cheerleader. I'm coaching you and I'm cheering you on to live and become the better version of yourself. And I'm not alone tonight, right? I've always, and I try my very best to have a co-host, but I've got a special co-host with me tonight. She has been on before, so she is no stranger to many of you all. But I do want to introduce you all to Coach Michelle Cotton, one of my babies, honey. And we're going to open up and share some things that she has that she's an expert in and she's very well versed in that can help us with these three versions of ourselves, right? We're talking about the broken version, the better version, and then your current present version, that version that lives in the moment, in the present, right here, right now. It woke up this morning and it had the ability to make some choices throughout the day, right? Good ones and bad ones. Choices from either the broken version of itself or choices from the better version of itself. And it also had the choice to either stay broken or do some things today that would help you to become and be made better. All right. And so I want her to introduce herself ever so wonderfully to you all, those of you that might not know her, and let's see what she has to offer.
Thank you, Dr. D. Okay, I'm just gonna call you Didi because that's the relationship.
That's fine. That's
I
fine.
know it's
Hand
a
it.
professional platform, but thank you for the opportunity to finally join you as co-host. Me and Jonathan did.
Oh, that's right. You've always been on with Jonathan.
Yeah, I was with Jonathan, which
That's
was amazing.
right.
Yes. So I am Coach M. Cotton, part of the Cotton Crew, Cotton Clan. I am a personal development coach who talks mainly and specifically about mindfulness practice. So for those who do not know what mindfulness practice is, it is a therapy where the long term is called dialectical behavior therapy, which is short for DBT. So you may be kind of know a little bit about that version of it. But basically, what it does, it helps you to cope with your stress, manage your emotions, and improve your interpersonal relationships, which is so good for a platform like Better Together Talks. And really, while we're talking about the three versions of yourself, so it really goes along with that subject line and that healing line for how you can improve yourself, work on your mindfulness, and to become a better person every day. Did you? I think I'm not sure, Dr. D. Did you freeze? Yeah, you kind of froze. No, I cannot hear you. I can read your lips. I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you.
Yeah?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. So, with that being said, give me some mindfulness because I'm not that on it or especially in the therapy arena, the psychology arena, and things like that. So, mindfulness. So, give us an actual of what mindfulness looks like. Like, what does it relate to?
Okay, absolutely. And you're kind of going in and out, so it was really choppy, but I feel like I got most of the question because it's freezing up a lot, stalling out, and so I hear every couple of
You
words.
can't hear.
I can hear you now, but you're frozen on my screen. Yeah, but to
Okay, what
answer,
about now?
say it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes. Okay, that's better.
What's better? Because I'm not saying anything.
Well, when you said, "Can you hear me?" I said yes, so I could hear you. When you said, "Can I hear you?" then I
Okay,
was
you
saying,
were
"What's?"
you were delayed though, so I didn't know if
Oh,
you're
okay.
hearing me on a delay.
Yes, but now it's clear, but it is delayed. But before it was just static.
Okay. All right. Well, just go ahead. You keep talking because and I'm losing vocal from you, volume from you, like big time. But go ahead. Keep going so people can hear.
Okay.
Did you hear what I asked?
Yeah, you wanted me to give you an example to just kind of really explain what mindfulness is on, more simpler terms, right?
Right.
Okay. So an example of mindfulness would be when you're trying to recenter or refocus, one of the main points is being present in the moment. That can look like meditation, self-reflection. That also can look like you being still, being in a place of quiet. Also, with that, when you think about managing your emotions, it comes with identifying your triggers, being able to know what kind of puts you in an emotional state of mind. That can be anxiety, frustration, grief, sadness, depression, all those type of low vibrational emotions. I like to say it also does impact your thought pattern when it comes to those emotions of guilt, shame, grief, depression, things like that. Most of that starts in the mind or from some type of trauma or experience that happened way back when. And so when you're talking about like the brokenness or the broken version of yourself, you can relate that to mindfulness. Most people will say, I am broken. And this is an example that I was sharing with you today, Dr. D. But a lot of people say, I am broken. But that's not necessarily true because that's just the feeling that you feel. That's the thought that you have. And now you have connected that thought to how you feel and have made it an identity, but it doesn't define you. So, what I like to coach and teach people to say is like, try to change how you're speaking about the feeling to help you manage it better. So, instead of saying, I am broken, another way to say it is that I had a thought and I feel like I'm broken, because what that now does is separates who you are from that emotion, because you're not broken, but if you're thinking that and you're feeling that, that's how that it can take up resonance in your heart, in the way you react and the way you respond to different things, because you're ruminating, you're telling yourself over and over again, what happened to me is what I am, but there's a specific separation between what happened to you and who you are.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let's take another word. So give me another word besides I am broken. What about I am sad?
Right. So you can use it in the same way. So that's the thought. I feel sad, right? And you could feel sad from the standpoint of, let's say you lost your job and you feel sad or you feel anxious because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know how you're going to provide. But what you can do in that moment, instead of making that now your new identity that you have just confessed over yourself or over your life, you can say, I feel sad, because that's a true feeling, but
Mhm.
don't identify that and make that who you are in that moment, because that's the situation that happened to you.
Okay. So mindfulness is somewhat like affirmations. Would I be safe to say that?
Yes, affirmation does play a part in it, and it does grow way bigger than just affirmation, because it's more um, a train of thought, like it's a mindset skill. So when you're talking about mindfulness, you can have affirmations, which is a really, really good thing, because it connects your thought pattern to your behavior. And so if you're thinking, I like to call it stinking thinking sometimes, if you're thinking negatively or you're ruminating over, again, things that may have happened to you, that now becomes who you are, and you start to operate with that depression, you'll operate with that sadness, or you'll operate in that anxiety. When the truth of the matter is, once you begin to think differently, you begin to speak differently. So that's that mindset. But also with the affirmations, there are other things that we recommend that you do in tandem with affirmations. So again, that could be self-reflection, meditation, being quiet, learning how to identify triggers, learning how to accept certain things that's outside of your control. When you're talking about the emotions, you also have to use a level of rationale, a level of logic, I would say.
So when you're in a place of like meditation or quietness or just being still, so something just happened to me, right? I'm just giving an example. Something just happened to me. I didn't like it. And I'm starting to own the feelings of being bitter, very angry, right? Because we've been talking about this unforgiveness and this broken side of us, the broken version of us that holds on to this unforgiveness piece, right? I just can't get over it, what they did to me. Oh, they pissed me off and I am hot mad, right? So now I'm identifying with the emotion.
Right.
What you're saying is that I shouldn't be doing, but I am, because that's I'm taking on the feeling, right? So I'm very angry. I'm becoming bitter. I'm becoming very resentful. I'm regretting the fact that I ever met you, or that I ever had anything to do with you, or that I even got into this deal with you, or that I even, wasted 15 years of my life with you, or whatever, however the case may be, right? So I'm feeling all of this, and I am identifying the I ams. And then I realize, well, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to ruminate with this, or I'm just going to sit and I'm going to be quiet about this.
Right.
I'm just going to sit and I'm going to meditate on this. But then my meditation and my quietness and my rumination leads to me getting even more hot, pissy mad, because in my quietness, guess what my mind is doing? It's replaying, it's recycling, it's reliving, it's just on freaking loop, right? So sometimes I find out that the broken version of us is sometimes afraid to be quiet.
Right,
it's
absolutely.
afraid to be still.
Yeah.
It's afraid to face itself, because of the fact that now my heart and my mind and my soul wants to relive, replay, and remember almost everything verbatim. So help us. How do I not be quiet and start going 38 hot all over again? Because my mind, sometimes there's not like an on and off switch in there. Sometimes things just pop up.
Yeah.
And you're like, I wasn't even thinking about that bull crap. But now that I'm thinking about it, I should have said this, and this. And I'm going to let these cats have it the next time I see them coming. Because now I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? So help us to be quiet, rumination, solitude place that can become somebody's traumatic silence.
Absolutely. So that's really good that you connected that, because that happens a lot when you're in that quiet place, especially if something is really fresh and you just really can't get past it. So the idea with mindfulness practice is that when that distraction comes, when you're sitting there and you're reflecting or you're meditating, the idea is for you to not think about that in your quietness and think on something. I'll make a joke about it and I'll say, think on those happy thoughts, right? Like something that brings you to a place of joy, something that brings you to a place of peace, because that quiet time is really more connecting with, Christ. We as believers, that's the time to really sit there and think so you can hear. You're being quiet, not just so your mind can start to wander and go back to any place, whether it's the gym, what you want to eat later on, whether it's a situation. What that quiet time is doing is creating an environment where the brain can actually shut down, calm itself down. And what I like to suggest that can help people not think about the other distractions that's going on is to think on something that brings you some joy, some peace, whether it's a place, whether it's, a person, I'm not really sure, but think on something that brings you some type of peace or happiness or joy. Then that way, when those distractions come, because they will come. I tell people all the time, during meditation, you will get distracted. The idea, though, is to bring yourself back into that moment, to that quietness. And it may be you reciting something. I like to recite scripture. One of my favorite scriptures when I'm sitting down practicing mindfulness meditation is be still and know that I am God.
Nice.
Why I say that is because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I want to let my brain know that I am being still, meaning that I can manage you. I need you to shut down, power down, like Daddy would say, power down. And so as you're being quiet and those distractions come and you be like, you know what, I should have said this, keep reciting something that's going to keep you grounded. And it takes practice. I always say mindfulness practice is a day-to-day, all throughout the day practice. It's not something that you're going to do in the moment and think you're going to handle and manage all your emotions. No, you're going to be tripped up. But the more that you practice it and you begin to be intentional about how you're meditating, your quiet time, your reflection time, I also say get rid of things, cell phones, TV, even music sometimes could be a distraction, because although music does aid in calming people or bringing relaxation, it still can be a distraction because now your brain is still thinking about things. It's listening to the music. It may be a nice beat, and now you flowing with the beat. You don't forgot you're supposed to be being still and being quiet. So yeah, so when those distractions come, instead of, still operating and giving those emotions, that anger, that frustration about, oh, I should have did this, and that, and the third, and I'm ruminating over it. When you're in a place intentionally to say, you know what, that happened. This is the time where you can't, you vocalize that. You say, that happened. I didn't like it. It didn't feel good. Acknowledge all those things and then bring into your place of, okay, what's next for me? How can I move past this? And I love the way you said about forgiveness, because that forgiveness has to start with you. You got to be the one to be open and honest about, can I forgive them? Am I ready to forgive them? So I can move past this place of hurt. I can move past this place of frustration, because all those are emotions. And if we know anything about self-control, we have control over our emotions.
Right.
So yeah, that's part of how we can start to to manage it a little bit with those distractions when they come, because they will come.
I like somebody from Grace Glow Flow said mindfulness sounds simple, but sitting with your emotions without judging them is hard.
It is really hard.
And I think that's why you use the word practice. This is something that you'll have to practice. Because when I tell you, the mind will run on a 5K marathon for you.
It will.
And you are not ready, did not work out, didn't stretch, didn't prepare for this race, honey. It'll have you on cray mode, and it'll start remembering everything, and it'll start pulling up names, dates, what they wore, and it'll just take you into places. And I think that this is very important that we practice, even if we practice for 2 minutes, right? Can I sit for 2 minutes and shut my mind off from everything going on? And I think you said something that was very, very paramount. Reading scriptures, meditating on scriptures. I believe in that wholeheartedly. That if you're going to pull down every vain imagination, thoughts, and negative ideas, and false talk in your head or whatever, you're going to have to combat that with the word of God. That is the only thing that's going to shut out and block out those voices. That will continuously run you ragged. They will run you in the ground. You will come out of, that's why, believe it or not, I had a season in my life, and I'm just gonna have a transparent moment right here. I don't normally talk about this too much, but I had a season in my life where I was having suicidal thoughts, right? I know people are like, I did a while back ago. And one of the things, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is not to glorify suicide, but to tell you that one of the spaces and times of the day that I hated the most, because I knew it was going to come back and it was going to start haunting me in my head, was at night when it was time to go to bed.
Right. Right.
Because I knew the house was going to get quiet. I knew my busyness was going to shut down. You know what I'm saying? When we're busy and we're active and we're going to work and we got to get the kids and we got to cook and we got to do the laundry and we got to go grocery shopping and whatever, we don't have that time to sit and be still and remember.
Right.
We don't have time to sit and be still and reminisce. We don't got that time. And I think a lot of people, that's how a lot of people try to cope with their pain.
Right, staying busy,
overworking or over socializing or getting involved with a new relationship. You know, you're not over the last one, but you're thinking that
this
if I
I'm gonna move past it,
and if I start being quiet and I go home alone, that's gonna be the worst thing for me. I need to start finding somebody. I need to find something that I'm gonna get involved and I'm gonna start dating again. And I'm gonna hang out with my girlfriends. And every time you find you somewhere out there, over there, here. And we looking at you going, we know you're not healed.
Right.
We know you're not. This thing just happened 2 days ago. Ain't no way.
You jumping into something else,
laughing and goop gopping all around the town. There's no way, right? And so some people, like I did, when I was in a season of my life, I dreaded the silence. I literally dreaded the fact that it was going to start going quiet. My kids were going to bed. They were falling asleep. You know, my husband was sleeping, so I had to turn the TV off so they could be quiet. Like, right? Everybody, like, the whole house is silent.
And you there with your thoughts.
Feeling like I can't fall asleep. I'm like praying I just fall out and go to sleep. But those are when you're under the most stress, and I can only talk about me, when it seems like going to sleep is like not on the
you can't.
Like stress is like an adrenaline rush, right? I'm woke. And now my mind is saying, you know, you could really just end this all. You could just get this all over with. You ain't really got to go through all of this. If you just end it tonight, you could just go in the bathroom and get those extra pills, or you could, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to give people ideas and things like that. But I'm just saying it's time now for the mind to start working overtime. And if we are not, or if we have not been practicing this, like 2 minutes at a time, 5 minutes.
Start very slow.
Like, is that how it works? Can we do it that way?
Absolutely. Anytime you feel it. I was reading Grace Glow Flow's comment again, and she's like, it seems simple, but it's really hard. And like you just was being transparent, it is really, really hard. And that practice, that's when it comes into play. Like, you know, you're the sports woman, so I'm not gonna be great with this analogy, but if you're playing football, you're not gonna go get on the field game day and you ain't practiced running, you ain't been in the gym conditioning, and you think you're gonna get out there and play 4 quarters of a game. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna lose every time. You're gonna run out of steam. That's how mindfulness practice is. Whenever you can, whether it's 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, whenever you in your car, you driving, shut your radio off. Just try to focus, be in that moment, because we miss so many moments. And what you were saying about, you know, how at nighttime people hate when the business is gone, the day is over. You got to sit here, really be with our thoughts. We got to sit here, be with ourselves, and we got to think about all the 1 million things that's going on. There was a case study that I read about that. There were some college students, all different ages, races, backgrounds, and the person who was conducting the case study put them in a, you know, individually said, if you could stay in the room for 5 minutes with just you, nothing, no cell phone, no TV, no music, nothing like that. Let's see how you can be with you and your thoughts. If you can't, there is a button. If you hit the button, it sends an electric shock through your body. I don't know if y'all read the case study, but more people, again, different ages, races, all the things, was hitting the button because being alone with just you in your head was death. I
For
would rather
5 freaking minutes.
5 minutes. I would rather send this current the whole 5 minutes than me not having to think. And so a lot of that is neurological. And so when we begin to learn about the brain, which is really, really deep, and I would dare not go down that trail today because this would be a 4-hour podcast.
Right.
But a lot of it deals with the brain. The Bible speaks about be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
That key
Yes.
scripture, it was just not to be like, oh, if I renew my mind, I can do this, that, and the third. No, literally, that scripture reminds us about when you renew your mind, your brain changes. You have to be in a place once you start practicing mindfulness to be able to command your brain to shut off. Why you could not go to sleep, and not saying that you didn't try it, I'm not sure, but you have to talk to your brain. Your brain is always running, it's always living. And when it doesn't have anything to do, because when we're sleeping, that gives our brain time to reset. But if we're not sleeping, it can't do its job, it can't reset. So we have to tell our brain what to do, like literally shut down. There's a prayer that I pray, and then I think my mom taught me this a long time ago because I would be so anxious. You know how I used to battle with anxiety. And she said, you can command your brain to shut off. You tell it. And so I would say that to those who may have a challenge when it is quiet, when everything stops, going to sleep, or just having some thoughts of, I don't want to deal with this, so I can just, go and take myself out, or whatever the case may be. You can command your brain to shut off. Will it happen day one? Probably not. But the more that you practice this, and then set a tone, set an environment for your brain to shut down. Most of us, we're coming home from work. If you have children and a husband and families, you're running around, you're managing that, cooking dinner, washing clothes, preparing for the next day, all these things. There is no time between you getting up in the morning to before you go to bed when you prepare for bed. So
for a wind down, like a
wind down. Absolutely.
Down.
There has to be a moment in the day, mostly when you're getting ready to go to bed, that you have to wind down. Start letting the brain know, okay, I'm coming to a close. I'm preparing you, whether you drinking some tea, whether you being quiet, whether you taking you a bath, and you telling your brain, you sending all these signals to say, this is coming to the close of this day, because days don't just run together. That doesn't exist. They're separated by 24 hours. So you can't just run your day into the next day, because now the brain doesn't even know what's happening. You have to be the one to stop it, put a pause on it. And typically that happens when you go to sleep. But when you're starting to prepare yourself to wind down for rest, the brain knows now, oh, I don't have to work right now. This is my time to rest. This is my time to shut down and shut off. And you're in control of that. So by the time you lay your head down, you feel more in a relaxed state, because now the brain knows, oh, that's going to be next day. So when I wake up, now I start back working again. Now I'm talking about the to-do list and the task list and all those things. But for right now, I'm calm because I got to reset. I got to reboot. You got to give that brain time to recalibrate. It's a great machine. It does its job, but you have to be the one to tell it what to do.
Yeah. And I see here that our admin, she has posted that scripture, Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal, right? Let the mind renew. Let the mind renew. What happened yesterday, it already happened now. I mean, ain't nothing we can do about that, right? I mean, there's something that was out of our control, and we can't control erasing anything that took place yesterday. It just ain't gonna happen.
It won't happen.
Need and ruminating over it, and ain't no need. And so we got to renew, just renew and move forward, right? That by testing, you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and acceptable and perfect. There was some questions too that was in the chat, and
I saw Gabrielle
get those to put. Can we get those back up so we can maybe address one or two of those questions? Okay, how do you slow down enough to understand what you're feeling? Okay, Coach Kai.
That's a really good question. So boundary setting. Even if you got to set boundaries with yourself, I do not overlook setting a boundary. And the better you learn how to set a boundary, the more you're able to slow down. And so that boundary can look like you want to go hang out with your friends, but you just got for work, you got to get the kids down. They're like, oh, let's go grab whatever, let's go out to dinner, whatever. I can't. I have to be intentional about this. Can we schedule a time for us to do that? Start setting appointments for yourself, even in your family household. So now, again, you're giving your time to put limitations on what you can and cannot do. Because we want to do it all, but it doesn't make sense. We can't do it all. So how you start to slow down enough to understand what you're feeling, you got to start setting those boundaries. Again, even with you, tell yourself, nope, can't do that right now. Nope, I need to sit down. Maybe I need a journal. Maybe I need to have some quiet time. Maybe I need to sit down, read my word. Maybe I need to do a Bible study. Something like that that's going to get you to, I don't want to use the word force you, but almost like that intentionality has to be so, priority that you force yourself to do it anyway. You may not even want to do it, but you gotta do it, because that's going to be the only way. Again, you gotta reset the brain. If you're not doing stuff to reset the brain, you won't ever slow down. There would never be any gaps between your days and your moments. So yeah, so starting to slow down to understand what you're feeling, because you may feel like you're always in a survival state because you're always going. You may feel like people are always depending on you because you always letting them depend on you. Sometimes, I heard this a long time ago from a good therapist of mine. She said, sometimes you gotta let all the balls drop. Let the balls drop. Stop trying to catch all the balls. Let them drop, and by them dropping, that 9 times out of 10, stuff will go on. It will go on without you. It will go on with you. It will go on in spite of you. So sometimes you got to create those gaps in your day, in your time. So for you, self-reflection and self-meditation and being with yourself is the key for mindfulness. You got to know how to prioritize yourself. And that's not like a selfish thing saying, oh, you're not glorifying yourself, but you're making it a point to say, I got to take care of me. I know, Didi, you say often, you can't pour from no empty cup.
Absolutely.
If you're running on E, you ain't got nothing to give nobody. So you're going to have to find time to really slow down and be with you enough to reset. It's just going to be paramount for you to do it. There's no choice in the matter for it. Or you're going to always be in that survival state, that rush state of mind. The brain going to always be on 100. And then all those emotions come in where you're frustrated, you're hungry, you're tired, you're mad, you're depressed, you're sad, because you don't have nothing to run off of. You don't eat. You've been on E. Matter of fact, you passed E. So yeah. I like that. It went away.
Yeah, and the thing is that to slow down enough to understand how I feel, right? Because I have this new phrase that I've been teaching people, and I don't know why the Holy Spirit just gave it to me now. And all the time but you gotta feel it to heal it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you gotta feel it to heal it, right? And so I want to be able to feel all the highs and the lows of my emotions, because then I don't know what to present to God.
Right.
If I don't even acknowledge the fact that I'm feeling the type of way. I'm feeling a little jealous about something. I'm feeling a little envious about the situation. I'm feeling like I'm comparing myself to other people now. I feel like like I'm inadequate. I'm feeling like, and again, I'm not saying I am inadequate. I'm learning my mindfulness, right?
Right. I
am feeling
absolutely
like I'm inadequate. I am starting to feel like maybe I'm not enough. I'm starting to feel like a lot of other people are better than me. They're smarter than me. They're going further than me. They're growing faster than me. And all of these things that are going on. So I want to feel those things. So then I know, Father, right, in my quietness, as I present myself to you, and I just want to sit here with you, and I want to meditate on you, and I want to, excuse me, y'all.
God bless you.
I want to meditate, thank you. And I want to meditate on your goodness and your grace and the mercy that you've had upon me. But I have something that I really want to expose to you. I have something hidden in my little brown bag. Oh my God. I have something hidden right here in my little brown bag that I want to peel it back and I want to open it up. You ever oh my God. You ever had to take a lunch to school and your mama made you a tuna fish sandwich?
What? Everybody know what you got for lunch.
What? You is so not wanting to open that lunchbox. You are so not wanting to open that bag. You
Right.
are so not wanting to open up that Ziploc, whatever the heck it is that's going to release
Mm-mm.
this aroma that has
Yeah.
a what
Right.
that you got
What is
going on?
that?
What is that? Right? But when you go in the presence of your father in that quiet place, in that secret place, he doesn't mind the stench
Yeah,
of what you are ashamed of talking.
absolutely.
He doesn't mind the stench of the how I'm feeling, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so he says, come now, let us reason together. And when he says that in the word of God, he says, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. He said,
Yeah,
though your sins be as scarlet, like they're super red, right? He said, I can make them whiter than snow. I'm your best friend. Trust me
right.
with telling me how you feel. And when I start being open and honest and transparent with God, first and foremost, right?
Right.
About this is my nakedness, and I'm not ashamed in front of my daddy to show him what's really in my heart. Because let me make it clear to everybody on here, God doesn't judge us from our outer appearance. And I know you be looking cute and you be
Right.
doing all the good stuff on the outside, spraying it down and lotioning it up. But God said, I'm judging you by what's in your heart,
Right. Absolutely.
by what's in this little heart right here, right? And so it behooves us. It's in our benefit to grab a hold and embrace our
Mm-hmm.
feelings of things, especially the bad feelings,
Right.
so that I can take it to my daddy and say, I need you to help me with this boo-boo right here. I
Mm-hmm.
done got hurt by somebody. I got hurt by something. I got disappointed and I done fell on my knee and I got a little boo-boo. And I'm going to need
Right.
you to help me with this little boo-boo in here. But guess what? If I don't feel it, then you could go on with a disease in your body.
Yep.
And because you don't have no symptoms, you don't have no feelings, you don't have no pain, you don't got no fever, you just walking around with it. And then you wind up feeling, you done been carrying it for 12 years. You're like 12
Right.
years. What?
Mm-hmm.
But now the sickness and the illness is out of control
Right.
because you had no indicator, because you had no feelings of pain, you had no feelings of sickness, you had no fever, you had no headache or whatever. And sometimes I know we don't want to feel certain things because we want to
Right.
run away from it, but feeling it helps me take it to the doctor so he can help me heal that thing.
Right.
Right? I don't want to have these secret pains and these hidden emotions and these hidden unforgiveness bugs and bitternesses and cancers growing in me. Now I want
Mm-hmm.
to feel it. I want to see the person come by at the grocery store, and I want that anger to rise up in me so I can go to my car and go, okay, I gotta be quiet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I gotta be quiet for a minute. I gotta sit with this, right? We're doing the mindfulness, right?
Right. Absolutely.
I done ran out the grocery store so I can get in my car real fast so I can sit with this. So I could be quiet right now. And I could bring myself in for a minute. Let me just breathe a little bit and then go, Father, I really felt like I was gonna slap them. I really felt like I felt like I wanted to go ham. My heart started palpitating, my face started getting flush red. Why am I still feeling? That's the word, right?
Right.
Why am I still feeling? It's not who I am. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to be a brawler. I don't want to be a fighter. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a
Mm-hmm.
coupler. I don't want to be confrontational. But
Right.
feeling.
I'm
I'm
feeling it.
feeling very, very angry now that I seen them walking through the whatever, through the mall or however be it, and they look happy.
Right.
And what they did to me, I was wanting to see them suffer at least a little bit, right?
Right. And they doing all right.
They look like they doing God doing good. I'm the one struggling. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
mall trying to pay a bill. They in the mall with 5 shopping bags. They got money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Absolutely.
flipping and flopping and doing well. David even said it in the Bible for all of y'all that's trying to judge me right now about what I'm talking about. That's okay. You can do that. You can throw stones. But David said, my foot almost slipped.
Yep.
He said, I was looking at the unrighteous and the ungodly. He said, and I started resenting that because they looked like they was prospering.
He said it. He did.
Oh, he said it. He was like, and I'm gonna have to sit down with this. So I'm saying, don't, and I like what Abby too is saying. She's saying this is hitting me because I think I've been avoiding feeling things and calling it healing. Oh yeah, I'm good with it. Oh no, it don't bother me no more.
Right.
Oh, I'm over that. Okay. We're gonna see if you over it when it actually
is in your face, right?
It shows up in your face, right?
And that's how a lot of people.
Phrase. Oh wait, I'm gonna let you go. Hold that thought, Coach.
No, go ahead.
Because there's that other phrase, and don't let it get twisted with what she's saying. Out of sight,
out of mind.
Out of mind. Soon as they come in sight, or soon as something that looks like it is in sight, it's something that reminds you of it, and it gets in your sight. We're gonna find out how much out of your mind it really is.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. What you gonna say, Coach Cotton?
I was just gonna say, like, that's how a lot of people, you hear about them snapping, crashing out because they just been avoiding things, and like Gabby said, calling it healing, but you ain't even started the process. And I believe she had put a question up there saying, where do you start? Like, I think, Gabby, I don't know where it was.
If you put that question back up
a while back, and I had wanted to just address that question because it's a really, really good question, but I can't remember how it went, but it was saying something on the lines of like if I
how do you know what you feel? It was something something like that.
Yeah. What if you don't know why you feel broken? Where do you?
There it is. She's got it up.
Yeah, and so that question is so phenomenal because, like you were just explaining, you gotta feel it so you can get healing from it. You gotta feel it so you can take it in prayer. You can take it to God. So that feeling is important. And then the next thing you do with that also is very important. You can feel it and then avoid it. You can feel it, try to ignore it, or you can feel it and take it to someone to get help. Like go to some wise counsel, therapy, prayer, you church, a pastor, something, God in your private prayer time to get help. But the first part of that question, Gabrielle, which is what if you don't know why you feel broken? It always, in most cases, goes back to an incident that happened that you ain't even think nothing about it. And that's when that identification comes in. Healing hurts. I'm sorry. I tell anybody, healing hurts.
Yeah.
Because you have to go back to what hurt you. You got to go back to that thing. And, this is I'm going to be careful with this analogy, but it's popped in my head. A woman who's been molested by somebody when she was 8 years old and now she's 35, and you wonder why you fear men or you get anxious in relationships or you are really overly cautious about someone loving you because that happened, you got to go back to that place when you was 8. Because you ain't talked about it for 20-something years and you just suppress these feelings and nobody in your family go to therapy. There was no outlet. There was no avenue. You told your mama. She may or may not have believed you. So you're still sitting with this, but it never been discussed. It never was made, known to the family that this hurt me, this happened. So you got to go back to that broken place. You got to go back to that place of hurt. So now you start to heal from it. That comes with identification. It may be a time, again, in that quietness, in that meditation, in that stillness, well, you need to start recalling some things that happened to you. And then as you're recalling those things that happened to you, your mind will begin to bring up like, oh, this is how I felt when this happened. Okay, so that's where you start. You have to go back and research some events that happen in your life because it always comes from some event. It just don't show up out the blue, but it comes from some event. And a lot of us, we avoid going back to the thing that hurt us because we don't want to experience it no more. We want to be the person that just heal without going back to identify what hurt us. But you can't get the healing or the recovery without identifying what it was that hurt you, what it was that broke you. So you have to go back to those traumas because the trauma has information that you need now to heal and recover. I hope that made sense to that question.
Yeah. And there's even some exercises where I think our co-host on last week said that she asked people, identify 3 things that you can remember when you were younger.
Yes. That's really good. Wow.
them down, right? Or 5 things that you can remember when you're younger. And she said, in most cases, most people remember something that was bad.
Yeah.
They can remember when I got spanked when whatever, or something like that. And I think so. One of the questions here was, what if you don't know why you feel broken?
Mhm.
Where do you even start? And some of it is to try to get a journal,
Yeah.
right? And one side is all of the things that made me sad when I was younger.
Mhm.
And then another side, all of the things that made me happy when I was younger, right? And then just see if you can remember some things or bring
Right.
back some things, like Michelle said. And yes, I used to say this so much when I was preaching in churches a lot more, that deliverance is a process and it
Yep.
hurts. It's not just that it's a process and it hurts.
It hurts. Right.
This is not, that's like going into surgery. Surgery is going to be a process. But when you wake up from recovery, you're going to feel the sting. You're
Yeah.
going to
Right.
feel the pain of the surgery, of the cut, of the laceration, of
Mhm.
whatever it was that they've done to you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the reasons why so many of us don't want to acknowledge, or so many of us don't want to identify what has hurt us, who has hurt us, or when they hurt us, because it goes back to a relating to or a feeling of present pain.
Yes. Yep.
All of us, most of us, do not want to feel any pain.
Any pain at all. Yeah.
Even if it means me feeling the pain will release the pressure, I still don't want the pain.
Right.
And I'll give this example as we close up tonight. I remember, if I had some what's those wisdom teeth that was in my mouth, and they was like, oh my God, they don't bother you, they don't bother you. I was like, nope. It was like, you need to take those things out. I was like, nope. you know, and it was like, you'll be so much better, and things like, I was like, nope. And the only reason why it wasn't so much anything else besides the fact that I didn't want to feel the pain of,
Right.
I'd rather just suffer with what I got going on right now than to go to the dentist and have to be subject to getting a needle Novocaine in my mouth.
Mhm.
Just the thought of all of that and that whole process got me to saying, nah, just let the wisdom teachers grow out of control.
Right.
Nope, I don't care what they do. They can shift all my teeth to the left. I just have a crooked smile. I just don't want to deal with
Right.
the foreknowledge of the pain that will come with this procedure. Does that make sense
Right.
what I'm saying? So I'll just stay sick. I'll just take my chances with whatever's going on, and that's how we are. And I think Abby too said that we're avoidant not
Mhm.
only of how we feel, but we are also avoidant of reliving or
Mhm.
reapproaching a pain to get healed from it or delivered from it. And that's why too, I think a lot of people don't go to therapy, Coach Cotton.
Right.
They don't go to see a counselor because the counselor is going to ask them,
All the questions that they don't want to answer.
and they don't want to answer. I don't even
Right.
want to remember, ladies. So stop
At
conjuring
all.
up stuff. Stop bringing up stuff. I've had people say that even at our old retreats, and I see Charmaine on right now. And God bless you, Charmaine. Good to have you. I've even had people when we've done retreats and we would have go into deep healing. People would be like, I just don't understand why we got to bring up stuff from the past.
Right.
I just don't understand why you want to make people cry. You just want to make people relive what they've been through. I just don't think that we should be doing stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's a thought process. Like,
Right. Absolutely.
why go back to the past when I'm okay with these 4 wisdom teeth in here? Ain't bothering me none. I mean, I know I got all this brokenness and trauma, and I don't love right, and I can't get into good relationships, but I'm all right with all
I'm
that. You know
okay.
what I mean?
Right.
I just keep living the way I've been living, honey. I know it's a subpar life, but at least I don't have to start reopening that Pandora's box and I'd rather just live in this jail cell until I die. If
Right.
that means to get out of here, to get out of this prison, means going back to deal with my pain. Nah,
I'll
y'all
just,
just need me here.
I keep maintaining the
That's
best
a
way I can.
hard. That's what people live. People prefer. People
Yep.
would prefer. I see it all the time. To stay in their prison, to stay in their pain, to stay in that pitiful state of knowing that there's more potential in me, but I'll never tap into it because I'm holding on to that.
Right.
But to go back to that, to release it, and I'll say this, I'll say that was my last thing. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let Coach Scott close us out. But there's a story about Jacob and Esau. And
Hmm.
that did his brother real grimy and dirty. And his mama said, yo, your brother gonna kill you and your daddy's mad. So you need to run on, run away, run, Forrest, run. Get up out of here. Don't ever come back. I feel like he was Simba, right? Simba is gone. Don't nobody
Right.
want get out of the pride land, right? And Jacob does. He runs. He goes away.
Hmm.
And he's marrying and he's having kids and he done found a new uncle and he tending sheep and oxen and he just living his life going on. But then there was a day that they said, your brother's coming to look for you. And he was like, my brother. He started going into convulsions about it. That's how we get the story about how he wrestled with the angel.
Right.
To the break in the day. He was like, Esau cannot catch up to me. Right? Because
Right.
that's his past. And he know whatever that is that's coming back for me, I don't even want to face that.
Right.
Right? But the way for him to have healed that and for him to get reconciliation with Esau, he had to face Esau. He had to
You gotta
face
face it.
what was coming for him. And so I say this to everybody on here, and we'll let Coach Cotton close out. Mindfulness might mean being mindful of what it was that has you in the place and the space that you're in now, where you're looping the negative, you're
Yep.
looping the horrible, you're looping the terror, you're looping the molestation, the rape, the divorce, you're looping the abuse, you're
Hmm.
looping whatever it could have been to you. You got to get out of the loop, right? But to get out of the loop, you might have to press play every now and again on the button and watch a little bit of the show.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
That's the only way to stop the loop is sometimes you gotta press play. Right? And but I feel like Coach Cotton tonight, and she'll give us some final words, that if we start practicing that quietness, that stillness, own what you feel, get help. Once you go to God, and I'm definitely that's your first stop. Take that to
Yeah.
your take that to your daddy and drop that load off. He said, cast all your cares on me because I really,
Hmm.
really care about you. Right. And then what he'll also do for you is he'll connect you to people. Right.
Right.
He'll use his hands and his heart and his compassion for you. And he'll place that same compassion, that same love, and that same care for you in the heart of a person, an individual, a counselor, a therapist, a best friend, a spiritual mother, a guide,
Right.
or however he do it, and it'll still be him helping and healing you through the hurt and the horror and the humiliation and whatever those other things were that happened to you. And so don't negate when you're on an island asking to be rescued and the boat comes by
Right.
and the canoe comes by and the airplane comes by and goes, no, I'm waiting on God. No, I'm waiting on God. God said, I sent the person on the boat. I sent the person on the canoe. I sent the person in the helicopter. That was all me. So
Right.
counseling can be God. Therapy. God will send you to a Christian therapist, a Christian counselor, a Christian
Absolutely.
coach like Coach Cotton or whatever. So Coach Cotton, go ahead and close us out on tonight.
Well, this was amazing. Again, thank you for giving me opportunity to come back to Better Together Talks. But you wrapped it up beautifully. The only thing that I would add is that with mindfulness, again, practice it all day, all throughout the day. It doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes. Find time to get quiet. Find time to connect with God. Find time to, if it's reading one verse out the Bible, and you just open it up and just read that what's in front of you. Do that, because mindfulness also is a premeditative thing. Because again, you don't want the war to come and you ain't equipped or prepared for it. So you can also use mindfulness as your preparation for whatever is to come. And when you're in that grocery store and you see that guy or that person and you about to go crash out and you got to run to your car, when you're practicing mindfulness, it will show up for you in that moment, and you don't have to run to your car to pray and say help me, da da da, because it's going to already
Yes.
start to work for you in that moment. And you will notice that you would have had to run out before or snapped, but now mindfulness is saying nope, you got control over your emotions. Nope, you can handle this. Nope, you can be cordial. You can forgive. You can just wave and keep on going. You don't even have to acknowledge him, them, nothing. And you can be yourself and have total control over how you respond in the situation. And that's what mindfulness is in the simplest terms. You want to have self-management and self-control over your response, not reacting. And so I will leave you guys with that. I did have some scriptures. I
Yeah,
don't know.
get them. Somebody
Yeah,
go ahead
so
and type them in the chat.
because,
Even if you're
because
watching this, like, type these scriptures in the chat.
okay, so mindfulness is really biblically related, and I'm talking about for the
Absolutely.
Christian faith. And so before I do any type of coaching and everything, I pray and I ask God, is this you? Is this in alignment with your word? Because I don't want to be talking to nobody, coaching nobody, and it's Michelle. That's not how I operate. That's not how I coach. And so I just want to give you guys some quick themes and then give you the scriptures that connect
Nice.
to mindfulness. So for believers, they can be like, okay, you ain't saying nothing about the Bible. Y'all giving out scriptures, but how does the biblical revelation of mindfulness comes into play? So, or how does mindfulness come into play with biblical principle? So focus is one of them. And when you focus on the present, I'm going to just read from my notes. Jesus encouraged us. He encouraged awareness. He encouraged being aware in the current moment so you can plan and prepare. He always talked about preparation and equipping yourself, being ready, right? So focus is one of the main things that relates to the biblical principles of mindfulness or with mindfulness. Also, guarding your mind. We gave that scripture earlier from
Mhm.
Romans. When you guard your mind, you can use mental focus. This mental focus helps you to avoid, like you want to avoid all the distractions, and you want to connect to the silence. You want to connect to the solitude, right? And you want to get rid of the anxious patterns, but it takes you really sitting with yourself and sitting with your thoughts and being quiet. So guarding your mind to make sure those distractions don't come and that you're preparing yourself. The other thing is the meditation and the stillness part. It also relates to biblical principle. Again, God said, be still and know that I am God. This
Yes.
is nothing that he ever designed for you to carry on your own. He's the shepherd. He's the one that leads us. So we got to listen to his voice and his voice alone. And so many distractions going on. You can't hear God when you are distracted. It's
Right.
only when you get quiet that we listen and he speaks. So you want to be quiet. You want to be in that place. Also, intentionality. God is a God of order, structure, and intention. He don't make no bad investments, and he is not out here just doing haphazard stuff. He knows all. He is all. So you want to focus on positive things. You want to focus on his word. There's and I have it in my scripture. I believe it's Philippians, but he says think on those things that are
Thank you.
lovely. Think on those things that are noble and kind. Like you have to kick out the distractions with getting yourself in a place of peace and joy and gratefulness. And so some scriptures that I have, Gabby, if you're ready, Philippians 4:8.
Mhm.
I also have, and I'm not gonna read them all, but I have Colossians 3:2,
Nice.
Romans 12:2, Psalms 46:10. And let me know if I'm going too fast, Gabby, because I can start over if I am. Proverbs 4:23. I also have Philippians 4:6-7, Isaiah 26:3, 1 Thessalonians 5:18, and Psalm 118 and 24. And all these are related back to those themes and those principles, from focus, guarding your mind, meditation and stillness, and intentionality. So that can give you a little bit of a playbook as you start to practice mindfulness. And thank you so much, Didi.
That was awesome. To give those scriptures was perfect. And I thought about a scripture, Joshua 1:8. Somebody
Yes.
wants to put that one in the chat, and it says, "Meditate on the word of God day and night, and observe to do all that is in the law, and you will have good success." Right?
Mm-hmm.
And success is not just, oh, I got a great job, oh, I got a nice car, oh, I got a big house, oh, my kids is getting all good grades. Success is my soul is prospering.
Yes.
My will, my emotions, the center of my how I'm feeling. Like I'm no longer that broken version of myself, even though I can't take away what happened to me. But I don't have to live in that brokenness. The better me can be the one who shows up daily.
Right.
Is the one who's not reacting, right? But it's the one that's responding.
Absolutely.
What's happening in my very present moment. And I thought about this also. The Bible tells us, why worry about tomorrow and what might happen tomorrow and what tomorrow might bring. He said, live in today and let tomorrow take care of itself, right? And so he wants us to be the present version of ourselves. He wants us to live right here, right? But we want to show forth that mind of Christ, that mindfulness, and in renewing our mind from Romans 12:2, then we start getting the mind of Christ. What would Jesus do, right? WWJD. What would you do in this situation? What's your mind concerning this, God? Make me as wise as you would be in this dilemma, in this situation, in the midst of me having this feeling. So I feel like that is our key component on tonight. If y'all don't leave with anything, is that when you're in your quietness and your stillness, that's the time for you to steal away and get in the shadow of the Almighty, right? And then acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He will direct your path. Absolutely. All right, guys. It happens every Tuesday. We just can't leave it alone. This together just starts feeling so good. But yet we always want to provide a comfortable space, an environment for you to have your tea, your water, or whatever it is. You could be lounging on the couch, or just sitting up in a chair, or just waiting for us to come on and share any way that we can help you become the better version of yourself. And I like the fact that Michelle said everything that she's coaching and teaching is biblical. And I'll say that you becoming better is what Jesus died for. He said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. That word abundantly means that you live a better life, right?
Absolutely.
That I must go so that the Comforter will come, and greater works, better things will you do after I leave. And so, guys, I love you all. Next Tuesday we'll be on. We'll have another co-host. We're still talking about these 3 versions of you. Go back, binge watch the videos that I've been posting about the 3 versions of you. Share them with other people. Do not keep this to yourself. You're not the only person that wants to get better. Your friends, your family, your enemies, all them people, your church members, neighbors, and co-workers. Everybody around you. Why get better all by yourself and then go into an environment where everybody else is broken?
Right.
It's just not a good fit anymore. And so you would want to help everyone that's connected to you to become better as well, so you all can become better together. All right. We love you guys. Have a great night. Share this video, put the replay in, make some comments, like, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's Better After Being Broken Ministries. Bye-bye.